Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 21, and it's time for our career mode. It's time for round 13 here in Aragon for the hashtag AragonGP. So here we go then, in the practice session, a track that I somewhat struggle with. I really like the circuit of Aragon, but for some strange reason I can never seem to qualify in a good position in this Spanish circuit, so we'll see what we can do. Hopefully we can improve, and hopefully we can at least show a wheel to the best riders in MotoGP here today. Of course, qualifying will be just straight after this one, after we've done the practice session, but I'm desperate to try and get in within the top 10 so we can go directly into Q2. It's not often we get to do that. I tend to struggle with the qualifying sessions, and unfortunately already looking a bit bleh. Down by 0.7 of a second into the first sector is certainly not going to impress anyone, but this is just one of those banker warm-up laps, so we'll see what happens after we get into the thicker things. But into the left-hand side we'll go for turn 9. Somewhat nonchalant going into that left-hander. It's a tough corner to get right, it really is. It's the downhill corkscrew, the reverse corkscrew if you will. As we now bring on the acceleration going into the Marc Marquez corner, firing on the acceleration for the left-hander, braking here just before the 150-metre mark. I was actually a little bit too relaxed on the brakes. I think we can gain a lot more time if we're a little bit more bolder on the brakes. But onto the right-hand side for 13, we'll position ourselves for the brakes for turn 14. Difficult corner to get right as well. You want to try and keep it tight and then also not trying to lose too much speed. In that instance, I would say I lost a little bit too much speed. So down by 1.5 seconds to Joan Mir's time. That's a fantastic time for Joan Mir considering he is on board the Suzuki. And I've just seen in the top left-hand corner, championship rival Johan Zarco with a red sector in the second split. That is never a good thing. But we are running out of fuel for this particular lap, so it'll be back into the pits and a change of tyres, because I don't think we've got the best tyres for the job. Across the line, 1.8 seconds down. So back to it once again, this time with the medium front and medium rear. I did make a little mistake going into the final corner just a moment ago to set us up for the flying lap, so that's why the medium front is looking a little bit burned, but we'll have Enea Bastianini ahead of us on circuit, which could be very, very fruitful indeed to help us get there and get those extra tenths that we might be missing out on. So braking for the left-hander very firmly for turn 5, but still under control, of course, but running a little bit wide. They're trying to get too close to the rear of Bastianini, and that has lost us all that time that we had built up into that first couple of corners. So onto the right-hand side we'll go now from turn 7. Bastianini also made a mistake, as we'll go for the very difficult right-hander, just temporarily chucking out the right Dainese boot, and now to the right-hand side we'll flick it to the left. It's not looking promising. And this lap with Bastianini is actually kind of hindering me somewhat, because I'm more focused on him than I am with my own lines right now, so this might not be a very good job. We'll still end it with Enea Bastianini ahead of us, I think, unless we go for the brakes here and just test it out, ready for the race. It's 6 PM tonight, so of course if you're looking forward to the Grand Prix, stay tuned and stay ace until 6 PM, and that's when you'll see the Aragon GP. But we'll try and get ahead of Bastianini now and hopefully start churning out some faster lap times, but that is not going to get the job done at all. That is disastrous. That is awful. Hopefully Bastianini gets ahead of us now and we can start picking up some slipstream, but I don't see him anywhere, so I'm guessing we really hindered not only ours, but his lap time as well. But I'm pretty certain he's quite high up anyway. He was 9th place when we were behind him, so I'm guessing he doesn't need our assistance to qualify well here in Aragon. So now into the left-hand side for turn 17. Bring on the acceleration, ignoring the lap that we just put in because that was a disaster, and start braking very firm for turn 1. Now I'm not entirely sure why I struggle with Aragon so much. I really, really like the circuit, and in the races I don't fare too bad. But when it comes to the qualifying session, well, to be honest with you, all the qualifying sessions in MotoGP 21 I tend to have a tough time with, but this one in Aragon and Silverstone, the back-to-back races are just so difficult for me to qualify well, and I literally have no idea, because in the race I'll actually do a pretty good job, so we'll find out what happens later on at 6 PM, but for the time being, not bad into the first sector, only down by less than 0.2 of a second to Jack Miller's time of a 1:45.283. So this could be the lap to get us into the top 10. This could be a very, very vital lap. So onto the left-hand side we'll go now for turn 9. A little bit too lackadaisical, but we're still on board the motorcycle. We are still going to be improving by roughly around 0.8 of a second up to a second. So things are looking promising. We just have to make sure we produce the correct lap now, and hopefully we can get into the top 10. Only down by 0.4 of a second. It's not looking too bad Onto the left-hand side for 12. We're still looking promising. Fingers and toes are both crossed and a potential chance of getting us into Q2 directly. Onto the right now for turn 14. Not as tight as I would have wanted to do it, but we go on the left-hand side. Power setting 3 is enabled. Keep off the rumble strip because you do lose a heck of a lot of time there. But if we're going to go into Q2 directly, I'm going to be a happy man, because that means we can fight for a very, very good position here in Aragon. But this last corner does catch me out sometimes. We look like we're doing a decent job now as we go on the left-hand side. Get ready to fire on the acceleration. Avoid the rumble strip at all costs if we can. Is this going to be enough? We get across the line. It's sadly not going to be enough. We will be in Q1 and we'll be desperate for a chance to get into Q2. And if we can get into Q2, then I think we're going to set us up for a wonderful Grand Prix at 6 PM. But Jack Miller, Joan Mir and Johan Zarco are your 3 fastest riders from the end of the practice sessions. And now let's take a look who's joining us into Q1. So myself and teammate Lorenzo Savadori, the only 2 Aprilias in Q1. Alicia Spargo has already made it through, so getting shown up from our teammate here. We'll have to turn things around in this session. So now it is time to fight once again. This time the soft front, this time the soft rear. Let's see if we can improve. Bear in mind, we were pretty close from getting through in Q1, or at least practice session just a moment ago, to avoid Q1. Hopefully this time we can produce the lap that we need to get directly into Q2, because we really need to start qualifying anything better than 12th place, because anything less than that, then the job is just far too difficult. I cannot afford to keep qualifying like 16th, 17th, or even last place like we did in Silverstone. So onto the right-hand side for turn 7. Not as clean as I would have liked there, getting caught up on the rumble strip. The rumble strips here in Aragon can be really tough to navigate and stay on top of. It tends to take away all your control and gets you a little bit wild, especially onto the back straight. If you go a little bit wide upon the entry into the final corner and touch that rumble strip, you can just lose all of your time, so we have to be very careful here. The soft tyre on the left-hand side of the rear is looking a little bit worse for wear, so I'm going to have to be very, very cautious of that as we break into the left-hander for turn 12. We're not going to get it stopped. Ah, damn it. Maybe we should stick with the medium tyres. I'm not entirely sure whether the soft option tyres were a good choice, as we now go on the right-hand side. Way too early on the brakes there for 14. Never going to get the job done if we go that early. It's such a tough corner to get right, as we're now 7/10 of a second down from Espargaro's time in the lead, and running the charge actually for the chance of getting into Q2 with Brad Binder on board the Red Bull KTM. But now I'm breaking into the final corner. I don't think I'm going to bother with these tyres anymore, because they are just getting way too hot in a matter of seconds. Look at the state of the rear tyre. Let's get across the line and hopefully change to a better tyre, because they're not going to get the job done, let's be honest. So I'm in a bit of a pickle here right now, ladies and gentlemen. I am struggling with the amount of medium tyres. I used a lot of medium tyres to produce that lap just a moment ago at the end of free practice. So I have 2 medium tyres remaining, and I'm trying to save it for when we really need it. So if this hard option rear can get us through, then maybe I can save the medium for the qualifying and then a medium for the race. But honestly, maybe it's best of just to go on the medium tyres and get through. The hard option already is looking a little bit worse for wear. The soft front is what I'm trying to use. There's so many red sectors on the left-hand side of your screen that I don't think Grant is going to survive even in 17th place. Binder is now at the top of the timing sheets, and it seems he's changed team. For some reason he's in the Repsol Honda colours, but we'll just ignore that for the time being. And now everything has sorted itself out, actually. Iker Lecuona is now the fastest man on track right here in Aragon, so fantastic for the young man on board the KTM. Never mind, that's been changed already. Frankie Morbidelli is now the man leading the charge going into Q2. We'll start braking in extremely firmly for the left-hander of turn 12, and it's super tight to the apex. That is what we needed on the previous lap. We saved ourselves so much time by getting that correct, so hopefully we can improve. But I've just seen the gap on the left-hand side of your screen. We are 2 seconds down from Jorge Martin's lap time. This is quite frankly awful. We have to improve a lot better than this, because this is going to be embarrassing. We can't start 2 races in a row at last place, or at least towards the back of the grid. It's just not good enough, it really isn't. For the world champion, we expect better. That is simple as. But now on the left for turn 16, let's get across the line and hopefully start churning out a better lap time. But I'm a bit concerned with the time here, because I don't know if I'm going to even have enough time to start changing the tyres over. We'll do another lap and let's see what we can produce. I hope the soft and hard combination will work and get us through into Q2, but right now I'm feeling a bit panicked. My heart rate has begun to get a little bit higher, and I'm a little bit concerned that we might not make it through. Jorge Martin, Morbidelli are still improving the benchmarks. This could be a disaster. We can't start from the back of the grid for a second race in a row. But into the left-hander for turn 5, we will stay positive because we are up by 2.5 tenths per second compared to our previous lap time. It's roughly 5.5 tenths per second slower than Jorge Martin's lap time, but we're still in the run for a good qualifying lap nonetheless. So if we can't get through into Q2, let's just try and qualify in a decent position regardless. So on the left for turn 9, approaching the difficult left-hander now. It's difficult to bring on a certain amount of acceleration here for the left-hander for turn 10. This time I think I've gone a little bit too slow. It's such a difficult corner to get right. Aragon is a tough and technical track, but it's fantastic. I do really like it. It's just that I have a tough time operating here in this track, and I've gone way too slow this time for that particular corner. That advantage that we had has now gone. That was far too relaxed. That was far too much concern and a lack of temerity, just more tentative than anything, and now the lap has been invalidated. That's a disaster. That is a real disaster, that one. That's when you start overthinking it. You start making decisions, and you start thinking about the race, and you start thinking about the qualifying, and then you blow it. I've got to get out of that habit for qualifying in MotoGP 21. For some reason, the qualifying is just so hard compared to the races, and I love the challenge, I really do. But if it was only equal, that's all we need next. But I tell you what, across the line, let's get straight back into the pits, and let's use those medium tyres. We can't gamble it anymore. Medium tyres have been put in. We have 8 seconds in the end of this session. So that's it. This is the one. We are starting last place if we don't improve on this lap. So that's it. That's what's at, oh my goodness, that's what's at stake right now. Medium front, medium rear, they're brand new, ready for action. And here we go. Onto the left-hand side for 4, left again for 5. Nice and tight to apex if we can. We're up by 3 tenths of a second. Let's see what the time is going to be in the first split. 3 tenths of a second down. It's not bad. It would probably put us near the top 3 or 4 for this session, which would be 13th, 14th. I'm okay with that. I'm happy with that. It's better than starting last, damn it, as we now go on the right-hand side for the reverse corkscrew to the left for turn 9. 6 tenths of a second, hovering around that. It's not bad. We've got a genuine chance here, ladies and gentlemen. We really do. This could be a fantastic opportunity for us to get into a decent qualifying position. It might not be enough for Q2, but it should be better than what we've got right now. Braking firm for the left-hander for turn. Oh my god, we blew it. It's gone. It's gone. For the second race in succession, your world champion will be starting from last place. Can you believe it? Jorge Martin and Morbidelli will move on to Q2, but for us, that's the end of the video. So we'll be starting another race from the back of the grid. My apologies, that is just terrible. But I will see you at 6 PM for the Grand Prix. If you enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments section down below. And if you really liked it, hit the like button and subscribe as well. And I will see you later on for the Grand Prix. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.